Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for today's video because it's going to be a good old-fashioned YouTube made me buy it video. To be honest with you guys, I leave for vacation tomorrow and I'm trying to get a ton of pre-filming done. So I was trying to think of a video that I could just sit down mostly and just chat with you guys. And I thought that this would be a good one. I feel like these videos used to be super popular, but I haven't seen anyone do one in like a hot minute. So like maybe it's just not a thing anymore, maybe it's just not popular, but I thought it'd be fun to talk to you guys about some products that would not be in my collection if it weren't for YouTube. So if you are interested, then stay tuned. But first, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider doing so before you go. I post videos every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, up first I have an OG product, and I feel like no one really talks about this anymore, but I definitely purchased this solely based on things that I heard from YouTube, and this is the Too Faced Hangover RX Primer. Now what I will say is this definitely is not my favorite primer of all time. It's just like it's fine. I feel like it has like a little bit of a tackiness to it, a little bit of stick to it, but I don't feel like it's super replenishing or super nourishing. It's definitely not my favorite. When I finish this up, I will not repurchase. This is currently going in my 19 and 2019. I should be done with this pretty soon, and it's just not a holy grail primer for me. I just don't love it. Next up is a product I'm also not a huge fan of, but I definitely bought this twice because of YouTube, and it is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I have mine in 2 different shades. I felt like because everyone said that this was the best concealer of all time, then naturally it had to be my favorite concealer. And I just feel like this is a little too full coverage and a little too drying for me personally. I would declutter these, but there's that, you know, there's that project planner in me that just would rather try and use these up because these cost $27 a piece. But they definitely are not my favorite, and I definitely purchased them because literally everyone and their mother was raving about these at one point in time. On a happier note, another product I purchased because of YouTube was the Fenty Gloss Bomb, and now I own all 3 shades, and I absolutely love this gloss. It is, I think, by far my favorite gloss formula. This and then Dose of Colors would be a second favorite. It's just such a good formula. It's not sticky, it lasts a really long time. All 3 shades I feel like are, for the most part, pretty universally flattering. I feel like they're going to work on so many different skin tones, and I just think it's such a phenomenal gloss. It's only $18 and you get a ton of product. I say only $18. It's $18, but you get so much product in it. I think it's well worth it. Beautiful packaging, love everything about this, but I definitely fell into the hype and purchased this because of YouTube. This is another older one, but the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. Who remembers when these first got released and people were like putting it all over their face and looking like the Tin Man and stuff, but everybody was raving about these. And I used to love these at one point in time, but I just don't anymore. I mean, I want to finish up, I have 2 bottles. I want to finish up and use them, but I'm just not the biggest fan of liquid highlights. I would just rather something easier like a powder highlight, but then next year I'll probably switch and be all about liquid highlights again. But when I first saw these released, I was like, no way, like I'm not purchasing that. And then I just kept seeing so many good reviews and so many like different ways to wear it. It was actually Jamie, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I want to say Genevieve, even though I know that's wrong. It was actually her YouTube video that I watched that finally like pushed me over the edge and made me buy these. So actually it was Jamie made me buy this, but really it was all of the YouTube reviews. This one is definitely a YouTube made me buy it, and I feel like this is like a YouTube made me buy it for like everyone, or like a Jaclyn Hill made me buy it, but I mean, come on, Champagne Pop, YouTube made me buy this. There's just really not a whole lot else to say about this. But one thing I will say is I really don't get a ton of use out of this highlight, and I definitely have highlights, quite a few highlights in my collection that I prefer over this highlight. And this used to be like a favorite, and maybe it was just a favorite because I felt like I had to love it because, you know, Jaclyn Hill created it and she loved it for so long. But I mean, it's fine. I definitely have other highlighters in my collection now that I like so much more than this one. Ooh, by the way, if I mention anything that you guys have also purchased because of YouTube, you should definitely leave me a comment and let me know if we're in the same boat down below. Another Becca product, and I feel like this was also one that Jaclyn Hill kind of, you know, had something to do with. This is the Becca Mineral Blush in the shade Flower Child, but I really do love this blush. I've been using this. This is in my Shop My Stash right now. If you guys are interested in watching my most recent Shop My Stash video, I'll link it in the cards for you. But this is in my Shop My Stash, and I've really been enjoying wearing this lately. I'm probably going to keep this in for a few more rounds through spring and summer because it truly is such a beautiful blush. It's just a beautiful, like, glowy pink blush, and I really do love it. This I had been kind of neglecting for a while. I didn't really wear this much last summer, but I have re-fallen in love with this. But this is definitely a YouTube, and Jaclyn Hill made me buy this. This next one is another like unpopular opinion, I feel like, but it's the NARS Natural Radiant Foundation. I bought this last year during one of the Sephora VIB sales because I'm not kidding, every single recommendation video I watched, everyone was recommending this. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I like Radiant and I really like natural finish foundations. I'm gonna like this. And I just don't love it. I don't know if I just like had too high of expectations going into it, but I've only used this much. And usually when I like foundation, like I'll have more use than I do. I haven't worn this or tried this in a really long time, probably since like, the home opener for the Vikings. I know I wore this and I don't know if I've worn it since, so it's maybe been since September since I've tried this. So maybe I'll give it another go, see if my mind's changed, but regardless, YouTube did encourage me to buy this. Okay, this one is a YouTube made me buy, but I also just love ABH as a whole, so I feel like I probably would have bought it anyway. But this is the Amrezy highlight. I definitely bought it the first time that this was released. This is such a beautiful highlight. Again, this is one of my favorite highlights. I definitely enjoy this one way more than Champagne Pop. This has more, it's a little bit more, it's less golden and a little bit more champagne than Champagne Pop, if you could believe. That's weird, but regardless, it's a beautiful highlight and I'm so happy to have this in my collection. I would say that this is probably a top 5 highlight for me. So good. Thank you, YouTube, for making me buy this. And then sticking with the ABH train, this pretty much goes for any and all of the glow kits, but I specifically pulled out the like colorful ABH glow kits. And I can tell you, without YouTube, I definitely would not have bought colorful glow kits. But I actually really do enjoy these. I really like the Aurora one. There are some shades in here you can definitely make work even like from a day-to-day basis. I get a lot of use out of Eclipse when I remember to pull this, as well as Lyra. They're kind of like peachy golden sort of highlights and they're beautiful. I actually haven't pulled either of these in a really long time. I need to in one of my upcoming Shop My Stashes, but YouTube definitely played a role in me purchasing both of these. Another highlight to share, I feel like I have a lot of highlights that I purchased because of YouTube. This is ColourPop Flexitarian, and I had just heard so many people talking about this highlight and using this highlight, and it's seriously a really blinding highlight, like really blinding, that I felt like I had to have it. Now what I will say is I really do like this as an inner corner highlight, but I don't necessarily love it on the cheeks. It's almost just like a little bit too intense, and unless I mix it with something, it almost has too much of like a white undertone to it, or like a silvery undertone, that I feel like I just don't like the way that it looks on my cheeks as a highlight. But it's a beautiful, beautiful inner corner highlight, but I definitely wouldn't own this if it wasn't for YouTube. And I just have 2 more products to mention to you guys. This one is another YouTube / Jaclyn Hill. She was the first one, and then I saw other people talking about it, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This is going in my 19 and 2019 project pan. Sorry, spoiler alert. I have a lot of pan going on this. This is a fine powder. It's a nice powder, but I wouldn't purchase it again because I don't think it's worth $45. I'm not mad that I have it. I just feel like it's not worth $45. So that is all I have to say about that. And then the last product is such a basic bitch product, but I feel like this is like one of the most iconic YouTube made me buy products. It's the Marc Jacobs Tantastic bronzer. I mean, really? This first launched, everyone raved about it, then you couldn't get your hands on it, and then the next year they relaunched it, and just everyone talks about this. I'm sorry, everyone does. It's a great bronzer. I love it. It's one of my favorite bronzers, and I talk about it too, but I definitely purchased this because of YouTube. I'm not mad. I really do like this bronzer. It's a beautiful compact. I really like everything about it. But YouTube, you're sneaky. After that, you guys, that's going to conclude this YouTube made me buy it video. You guys will have to let me know You guys will have to leave me a comment down below letting me know some products that you purchased because of YouTube. I think that would be fun to talk about in the comments. Other than that, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, don't forget to do so before you go, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!